Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stitch Up, and we're going to be talking today about Doctor Strange. My guest today is this gentleman right here, Ben Reger. He's my writing partner, he's been my producer, he's been my actor, he's been my best friend since we were born, and we went and caught the flick last week. Sat down, it was the first time we've been to see a movie together in about 20 years.
It's been a long time.
Give you a quick catch-up of the story though. There will be some spoilers. So you've got Benedict Cumberbatch, or as we lovingly refer to him as...
Bandicoot Splish and Splash?
He plays Dr. Stephen Strange, a very arrogant, prophetic neurosurgeon. He has an extremely serious car accident in which his hands are mangled, so he can now no longer perform the surgeries. He goes through all these different procedures to try and have the problem fixed, and nothing ever comes of it. During the rehab program, he hears about someone who was miraculously healed by going to the Far East and training with mystical yogis. He goes there, doesn't really accept what they have to say at first, but then sees that they are working with higher powers, and he actually starts undergoing training to fix his hands, but he sort of comes into this vanguard of other sorcerers who protect the universe. At one point, one of the characters says, the Avengers safeguard the world from physical threats. The Sorcerers Supreme safeguard the world from mystical and otherworldly threats. In this case being Mads Mikkelsen's Caecilius, who was under the tutelage of Tilda Swinton's The Ancient One, who is the Master Sorcerer Supreme. He's, trying to pull the rest of the world into the dark dimensions where we have the horrible demon Dormammu.
Dormammu.
Probably the best name for a villain ever. So that's the conflict that happens. And Stephen kind of takes on being a Sorcerer Supreme. We've been comic nuts for years.
Yep.
That's why I keep doing stitch-ups about comic movies. You'll notice that of the 4 episodes I've done, 3 of them have been about comics. You're a follower of the Marvel Universe stuff.
I am.
We've talked about it at length.
Yep.
This is the 14th film in their run. Where does it land for you in terms of quality?
It's right up there. The story being an origin story, I know it reasonably well.
Yeah.
But I think it translated to film really well. But I found that the more obscure titles like Strange, Ant-Man, Guardians,
yeah.
I've enjoyed them far more than I have the mainstream titles, which at times feel like they've been done. You can see them moving into the different Avengers movies, and that's what you're hanging out for. Whereas these ones are just, like, they're not as well known. Benefit Dumbledore.
Yep. I think he means Benedict Cumberbatch, but we know who he means.
He said in the recent article that he was able to walk around in his full get-up, and people would recognise him as Benedict Cumberbatch, but not as Strange.
Yeah.
Which he found really cool, because he could just build that character from...
But he's amazing.
He's brilliant.
But he's good in everything.
Yeah.
I cannot remember a single thing that I've seen him in that I didn't like. And he does bring a real weight to this role that you wouldn't necessarily get from Brad Pitt or a Johnny Depp or someone like that. The reason he has gravitas is because he's such a great actor.
The only thing I found with it was, watching a movie like this in Australia, where we still have quite a heavy BBC presence.
Yeah.
You're so used to him being English.
Yeah.
That the American accent was almost jarring for who he is.
Yeah.
But still believable.
I mean, the character itself is kind of unlikable at the beginning, but because he's so good at what he does, but he's does legitimately care about other people. Rachel McAdams plays one of the night nurses, actually, who are part of the Marvel canon. They're the Rosario Dawson's character in Luke Cage and the Daredevil TV series. The night nurses are the medical professionals who help superheroes. It's kind of a quasi-romance. There was something there
in the
past, but then it just becomes a newfound respect for him, and him for appreciating her.
Him almost finding his humanity and understanding why she works in the ED instead of being a specialist and all this kind of stuff,
and being a kind of just a dick about being a surgeon in the hands of God kind of.
Way more of a character growth.
Yeah, people are saying, "Oh, it's just like Iron Man," and yeah, it is in the sense that it's an arrogant American getting his comeuppance a little bit, and then using what happens to him to then change the way you think about the world and how you want to live in it, and maybe do some good.
But still, Strange and Stark, aside from being egotistical and arrogant and all that kind of stuff, it's very different characters.
Yeah.
Very different characters.
Benedict Wong as Wong. I just go to him because I really love what they did with this character. There was this huge backlash about whitewashing, which has been happening a lot in other films. Gods of Egypt, which was set in Egypt, but it was all mostly white cast. And there's this whitewashing thing, and I totally get that what they're trying to say. And they did it with Doctor Strange as well. They're saying, oh, it's whitewashing. There's all these Asian influenced roles, but there's no one Asian playing them, or for whatever reason. What about inclusion, all that stuff? And I understand the point. It was fairly inclusive. The Ancient One is played by Tilda Swinton, who is an Asian but is a woman. Historically, that character's always been a man in the comic books, as far as I understand. Baron Mordo, who's played by Chiwetel Ejiofor, is in the comic books. He's not black. He's a white man. Wong, who's played by Benedict Wong, who is an Asian actor in the comics, and even in that, the most recent run, Wong does play a bigger role, more significant role as a mentor as well. But he's traditionally a servant. Yeah, he's the librarian, but he's also Doctor Strange's cook and cleaner. But in this one, Wong he's the librarian, but he's a sorcerer supreme as well. Going in with that mentality of a whitewashing thing is probably, I think it's been hyped. I think this movie's very inclusive. Great performances all around, I think. I think they really lucked out with the cast.
Yeah, I didn't think there was a poor character in there.
Didn't fault anyone.
No, couldn't fault anyone.
But Mads Mikkelsen, great as Caecilius.
Oh, he's a great bad guy.
Yeah,
always
really
is a great bad guy though.
Yeah, I mean he's particularly good at bad motherfuckers.
Yeah.
But he's there's the scene where he gets captured for a minute. Doctor Strange manages to capture him, and he's sort of like tied up, and then he's trying to explain to Strange. The Ancient One, Tilda Swinton's character has been drawing her power from the Dark Dimension and Dormammu for years. She's a hypocrite. Death is an insult. We want to live forever, and his tears are coming down his eyes. What did you think of it visually?
Oh, visually it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely stellar. From very quickly into the film, you start to see how much work would have gone into just digitally and visually creating this whole film of all the spells and the shifting of the scenery, and it was just intense.
Scene in Inception where the sort of city's sort of starting to collapse on itself. You get that, but it's like to the nth degree. Yeah. And there's a fight at the start, which is the Ancient One going after Caecilius after he's stolen this spell. From Wong to in the the movie starts with a fucking beheading. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. Like in the library that Wong takes care of it, and they've got all the volumes of the spell books.
That's right, because Wong actually is the replacement librarian.
Yeah, that's right. And it starts off with some other dude pulls in fucking Caecilius and all his homies. And they string this guy up with these awesome magic rope things they've got him, and they cut the motherfucking head off. Just snip like that, and you see it it's a silhouette, and then you hear the thud in the bucket, and it's like
he's completely drawn out by these magic ropes, and just cool as you like. Yeah. Bucket. Where's this going? Gone.
Yes.
What's with the bucket? Is it a magic bucket? No, it's a bucket.
I seriously thought it's going to be a cauldron. And they're going to make some potions, and he's going to turn into a bad guy or something like that. Nah, just fucking snip.
Gone.
It's like supposed to be writing the script. The guy was going, how are we going to get to just, you cut the motherfucking head off. Yeah, no,
Gone.
He's finished. Replacement Wong. Yeah, so that starts, and that's how he gets his hand on this spell. And then they open these portals. That's right.
That's really cool.
Where they've got a ring, which is
sling ring.
Sling ring. Yeah, it's kind of like just look like a plate of metal, and it goes over 2 fingers, and they use it to then do this, and they think really hard where they want to go. They do that, and then they jump through this portal in time, and they end up where they wanted to go. Really clever story device.
Really clever story device. You could see constantly people grabbing the sling ring so they couldn't get away and things like that.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking they could have done a bit more of that. There could have been some really cool sleight of hand stuff.
Yeah.
No longer have the sling ring and all this kind of stuff. There could have been some really cool in like that.
More sort of magician-y than sorcery.
Yeah, a little bit like that. I mean,
That's dope, man. This guy should be a writer. Oh, wait a sec. Is it Marvel? Are you listening, Kevin Feige? Is that his name?
I'm going to run with that.
Feige? Fagan. I don't know what it is.
He's got to pick a pocket or two.
He does.
He's Fagan.
Kevin Feige. Feige.
Sure.
Fagin. Get this cat on board. I'm telling you.
I'm down.
He could ride the shit out of some Black Panther. So anyway, back to the sling rings, and they're using the sling ring, and they sort of jump through time, and Tilda Swinton follows them, and that's the first time you see this, where the world's kind of twisting in on itself, and they're using the manipulation of the scenery to kind of stop each other and like twist the walls so that, you know, there's that great fight where they're sort of jumping and spinning, and she's like pulling this bit back so a bit of the scenery hits the guy and then he falls.
And that's the first time you hear her referred to as hypocrite.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Because that power itself comes from Dormammu.
From Dormammu, yeah. And that's good setup too. That was really succinct script writing. The magicians basically, the sorcerers rather, they kind of put the world in a safe box, which looks like sort of shards of glass almost, reflecting, you know, shapes differently. But it's like a protective field where whatever's happening inside that sphere of influence doesn't affect the outside world.
Yeah.
So, you know, regular humans aren't seeing this and going, oh, fuck. Now, there is a plot device where Caecilius and his zealots get the power of Dormammu and they can work outside that sphere.
But they're also now being able to move the physical realm.
Yeah.
Like the Sorcerer Supreme can. Awesome fight scene where they're moving stuff around, she's moving stuff around. And then you've got Baron Mordo and Strange stuck in the middle just trying to deal with it all.
Yeah, the cloak of levitation, which is the signature for Doctor Strange, is this big red cloak with a big hood.
Yeah, it's
and it's kind of like, it's almost like Aladdin's carpet. It's sentient, you know, it doesn't talk or anything. It's like, hi, I'm a cape, you know. Like,
and just super protective of Strange.
Yeah, like from the get-go, yeah. And like, it helps him, as soon as it gets on, it helps him out. There's that dope bit after he's taken out that one guy and it's sort of hanging there and he sort of whips it around himself and it just lands on his shoulders. Too cool. There's nothing I dig more. I've seen a lot of movies and I've worked in the industry for half my life. When I see something I've never seen, it makes me gooey. Like I can't tell you how great that is because it's such a rarity. I mean, you can have beautiful character moments and you can have a beautiful story, but everything spectacle-wise has kind of been done. And then that last fight scene in Hong Kong, at one point, Doctor Strange gets an amulet. He has this green gem that can literally shift time. In that final fight, he uses it to turn back the destruction that Caecilius has wrought on Hong Kong in his absence. And in doing that, he is in real time and everything else is going backwards. And then Caecilius and his zealots shake the spell and they're going in normal direction and everything else is they're going backwards. They're fighting with the world sort of reconstructing around them, but so much so that one of the zealots goes in the floor and she ends up lying in glass and fish and water. And the fish tank goes and falls back up and she's in the motherfucker. She's like stuck in there with the fish.
Yeah, in the wall.
By the way, we forgot to mention Chiwetel Ejiofor as Baron Mordo. I mean, he's spectacular. I think he's a great actor. I've liked him for a long time. He did a really good David Mamet film called Red Belt about a mixed martial art instructor.
Going back to Serenity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He played the assassin in Serenity. Yeah, it's absolutely solid. And his disappointment in those around him once certain things are revealed, that's beautiful. That's like the boiling pot of, oh, fuck, this something's going to happen here and this guy's going to start to lose faith. And what happens when you lose faith in something is that you get angry at it. It's sort of psychedelic moment in Doctor Strange where Tilda Swinton's kind of, as the Ancient One, sort of hits him out of his body and he becomes his ethereal form and he sort of warps through time and reality and here and that. Just amazing visuals. And great. Ripped straight out of the Stan Lee, Steve Ditko books. On paper it's wild, but when it comes to life it's so awesome. So all in all, visually spectacular. This is the second film to come out with Marvel's new banner. They're now such their own filmmaking entity.
Yeah, Marvel Studios.
It's like the big rising score and they're showing clips from all their movies, and you're just like, fuck, they've really. And it's not even been that long.
Yeah. They've come a long way from having to sell Spider-Man to Sony.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, just to get a movie out.
Yeah, exactly. And now it's like start of this year when I did the very first stitch up. It was 10 years to the day that Iron Man come out.
Yeah.
14 films in 10 years. Like that's impressive by anyone's standard, especially if you're focusing on them all being connected. So, final thoughts on The Strangeness. Was there anything you didn't like? I mean, you sort of come out of these films going, wow, wowie.
Yeah. No, again, there was nothing that jumped out at me. Even thinking back on the film to do the whole movie review thing, do yourselves a favour, go and see Strange.
Yeah, absolutely. Go and see it for Benedict.
Bandersnatch Cumberbun.
Bandersnatch Cumberbun, is it? Or what's
The Bacon Dick Pumpkin Patch?
Bacon Dick Pumpkin Patch? Is that it? I don't think that's it. What's the other one?
Benedict Cumberbun.
Benedict Cumberbun. Come get your snatch. We're obviously going to get a Strange sequel.
They do that same thing. They did it with Iron Man. They've done it with Strange. Doctor Strange will return. The very final cutscene you see at the very end, which we won't go into.
Yeah.
It lends itself to another Strange film rather than an Avengers film.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool.
Like he said, listen to the man. He knows. All right. This guy's seen more movies than you've had hot meals. Trust me, he's a good source for this kind of stuff because he's a massive nerd. He just happens to look like a bearded Ryan Gosling. You do, the Goz.
No.
Come on. Anybody out there in the comments?
No.
Seriously, I want to kiss you in the rain and fight about stuff.
Nobody has ever accused me of looking like I'm airbrushed.
That's it. We're going to come to a close now. Check it out. Let us know what you think. If you enjoyed it, if you don't agree, tell us why. You know, what do you think about the film? That's what it is about. This is a conversation. It's a back and forth. You give a little, we give a little. You know, it's beautiful. Before we go, as we always do, we like to play a little game. And every time we play a little game, we change the name based on who we're with. So this one's going to be called The Benefactor. Hey everybody, welcome to The Benefactor. I'm here with Ben McGregor. Hey Ben.
Hi Regan.
How you doing?
I'm good, you?
I'm great. I'm so glad I'm here. Hey, I've got my exercise book. It's a new one because the last one I left at Hugo's. So I'm going to put some points up down the bottom here and see how the gentleman does. And if he does well, I'll let him finish that beer.
Just finish it now.
Or you can finish it now. Question 1. In what year did the character first appear in comics? 1960, 1963, or 1972?
63.
Well done. Did you know already? Did you do hand signals?
I just did 60.
This isn't baseball, motherfucker. Don't listen to him. I want you to steal from him. What are Benedict Cumberbatch's fans called?
It's a good one too.
Yeah, he was talked about. They're doing press for Star Trek Into Darkness. And him and Chris Pine were talking about Chris Pine has got pine nuts. That's his group of fans. And Benedict Cumberbatch has the...
Oh, it escapes me.
Cumber bitches.
The Cumber bitches, that's right.
Which is dope. He felt bad about it. He's such a nice dude. He felt bad about saying it. I remember seeing this fantastic bit of footage where he was being interviewed for The Imitation Game with Keira Knightley. But the camera was rolling, but they hadn't... they were still getting made up. And the interviewer said to Keira Knightley, "You look a bit worn out." And he's like, "That's a really horrible thing to say to one of the most beautiful women in the world." And Keira Knightley came back with the epic, "Yeah, fuck you." Chiwetel Ejiofor plays Baron Mordo. But in what film did he appear as a master assassin?
Serenity.
Serenity! Okay.
Let's not get into the Firefly conversation.
No, that's good.
It still hurts.
Yeah, I know.
It still hurts.
You'll see 2 grown men cry.
And the Kardashians have got another season.
I know. There is no justice. That's some Doctor Strange changing the universe shit. That's Dormammu at work. The Eye of Agamotto is the time Infinity Stone. It's 1 of 6. What are the other 4 that have been found so far?
Okay, so we have the Mind Stone.
The Mind Stone, which is, do you know where it is? It's in Vision's head.
Vision's head. The Tesseract.
The Tesseract, yes, which was from what started out in Cap.
In Cap 1.
Then they found it in the ocean, and it became the thing that opened the portal in Avengers.
Yep. I can't think of what gem that is, but I know that it is
It's
one.
a space gem.
Space gem. You also have the ether from Thor 2.
Yep.
That's one.
Which is the reality.
The power gem was the little purple number from Guardians.
The little orb.
And of course, we have the time gem from Strange, and the only one we're missing, I think,
Is the soul
is
gem
the soul
we
gem.
talked about, yeah.
which we talked about.
Okay. Good. I'm going to give him all the points for that. All them stones. And we also have the kidney stone, which is
Somewhat more
a
painful.
little bit harder to get at. You can break it up with shockwaves, or you can go up the urethra, but that sounds like a bad day to beach. Alright, Stanley.
You forgot with kidney stones and not gallstones, by the way.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I get confused between those two. It's the same way that I get confused between bunt and funnel cake, even though they're the same thing. Stanley and Steve Ditko created which other famous Marvel character together? It was huge. That's not the name of the character. It's
I was
not
going to say, what huge Ackman.
huge. What? It was Spider-Man. Which other actor was looked at for the role of Stephen Strange? There's two. If you get either one of them, I'll give you the point.
No, I've no idea.
No. It was Johnny Depp, and Joaquin Phoenix was seriously sought after. Okay, so the big bad in the film is Dormammu.
Dormammu.
How do you spell it?
D or Mamu.
I'm going to give him the points for that! Dormammu, because I written down the question and then forgot to write down the answer. Even though Dormammu was in the question, I've spelt it door, and then I've drawn a picture of a door. This is deep cuts, but I thought it was cool because it's a really interesting insight into the character itself. What is the book that Stan Lee is reading in the cameo? He's in a bus and he's reading a book, and Strange gets sort of face plants against the window as he's being thrown by Castelli.
Oh, I saw it, and it was funny because he says, "This is hilarious," and he's laughing his ass off, and I thought, that's great, and now I can't think of what it is.
It was the Doors of Perception. And finally, Mads Mikkelsen plays Caecilius, and he starred on television as which famous fictional serial killer? It was a TV series, 3 seasons, I think, and they got tanked.
I don't think I saw it.
Hannibal!
Oh, of course.
Lecter. We did alright.
Did okay.
We've had people do worse. Hugo tried to answer a Batman question with Hulk Hogan at one point. So got all the who played Batman and Hulk Hogan. Like, are you fucking high? What's going on? So, that's the end. Thanks so much for watching another Stitch Up. We'll be back again, I'm sure. I don't know what we're doing or who we're doing it with, but it's all good fun. So, we'll see you next time. Thanks very much to Ben.
Thank you.
Good man. And yeah, keep watching them movies and I'll keep reviewing them. Alright, take it easy.
Benedict Cumbertrump.
Bacon Dick Cucumber Patch. What the fuck is it? Sorry. Wait, hang on. It's alright. Bacon Dick Pumpkin Patch. Benecouch Comfortable.
Benedict's Cumber Nuts.
Can't hold that one. Benadryl Cumber Trash. You got a tear in your eye.
So Benefit Dumbledore.
That one am I not even... It's a nice biscuit. It doesn't exist. Benelite Cumber Switch.
Benedict Lumbersnatch.
And of course, Bender Snatch.
Bender Snatch.
Bender Snatch. It's just like it goes in and then up. Benedict. What is it? Bender Snatch Cumber Bum.
Bumbledick Cucumber Patch.
Butterscotch Comfortable Pants. Now we're going to turn to camera and say it right. Say his name right. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
We're going to do it together. Fuck you. Timing. On 3. Okay. Benedict Cumberbatch.
On 3 or after 3?
On 1, 2, 3. Then we turn.
After 3.
After 3.
On the 4.
Fuck. Benedict Cumberbatch.